just howdy partner type shit. All right, welcome back to a long time. I decided my live videos and even uploading them to my YouTube channel are not doing too well. They're not doing too hot at all. But I was like, fuck it. I actually like reading live, and I have like a couple viewers, maybe one view per video, and I think that's awesome. So I just wanna keep going, see what happens. Today, we are reading a Bronte tale, Jane Eyre. I'm about 200 pages left, and then we could start Wuthering Heights. But I'm not gonna read Wuthering Heights right away. I'm just gonna keep reading Jane Eyre. I was reading it by myself. I never went. Oh, I closed the book. I never went live. For Jane Eyre before, and I thought I was. But then I took a 3 month break, and now I'm like, and then I just got to a crazy chapter where, spoilers, she's about to get married, and then the priest is all like, the clergy or whoever does the thing was all like, yo, I'm not for the marriage, and that's where we are. Where was I? So Mr. Rochester, on hearing the name, set his teeth. He experienced, too, a sort of strong convulsive quiver. Near to him as I was, I felt the spasmodic movement of fury or despair run through his frame. The second stranger, who had hitherto lingered in the background, now drew near. A pale face looked over the solicitor's shoulder. Yes, it was Mason himself. Who's Mason? Oh, Mason. Announced the marriage? What? I think Mason works for Mr. Rochester, right? I think so. That's kind of crazy. Mr. Rochester turned and glared at him. His eye, as I have often said, was a black eye. It had now a tawny, nay, a bloody light in its gloom, and his face, flushed, olive cheek and hueless forehead, received a glow as from spreading ascending heart fire, and he stirred, lifted his strong arm. He could have struck Mason, dashed him on the church floor, shocked by ruthless blow the breath from his body. Okay. But Mason shrank away and cried faintly, "Good God!" Contempt fell cool on Mr. Rochester. His passion died as if a blight had shriveled it up. He only asked, "What have you to say?" An inaudible reply escaped Mason's white lips. "The devil is in it if you cannot answer distinctively. I again demand, what have you to say?" Sir, interrupted the clergyman. "Do not forget you are in a sacred place." Then addressing Mason, he inquired gently, "Are you aware, sir, whether or not this gentleman's wife is still living?" "Courage," urged the lawyer. "Speak out." "She is now living at Thornfield Hall," said Mason in more articulate tones. "I saw her there last April. I am her brother." "At Thornfield Hall!" ejaculated the clergyman. "Impossible. I am an old resident in this neighborhood, sir, and I never heard of a Miss Rochester at Thornfield Hall." I saw a grim smile contort Mr. Rochester's lips, and he muttered, "No, by God. I took care that none should hear of it, or of her under that name." He mused for 10 minutes. He held counsel with himself. He formed his resolve and announced it. "Enough! All shall bolt out at once, like the bullet from the barrel. Wood, close your book and take off your surplice. John Green," to the clerk, "leave the church. There will be no wedding today." The man obeyed. "What? There's no wedding? Who said enough?" I don't know. Yeah, that's Mr. Rochester talking. Mr. Rochester continued, I hope that they don't go through with the marriage. This is a 30-year-old man marrying like a 18 to 20-year-old girl. I am not for that. Mr. Rochester continued, heartily and recklessly, bigamy is an ugly word. I meant, however, to be a bigamist. But fate has outmaneuvered me, or providence has checked me. Perhaps the last. I am little better than a devil at this moment, and as my pastor there would tell me, deserve no doubt the sternest judgments of God, even to the quenchless fire and deathless worm. Gentlemen, my plan is broken up. What this lawyer and his client say is true. I have been married, and the woman to whom I was married lives. You say you never heard of a Miss Rochester at the house up yonder, Wood. But I dare say you have many a time inclined your ear to gossip about the mysterious lunatic kept there under the watch and ward. Some have whispered to you that she is my bastard half-sister. No! He was married to his half-sister. Jesus! Mr. Rochester. Oh, you dog. Oh, I think... Did they even get a divorce? Some, my cast-off mistress. I now inform you that she is my wife, whom I married 15 years ago, Bertha Mason by name, sister of this resolute personage, who is now, with his quivering limbs and white cheeks, showing you what a stout heart men may bear. Cheer up, Dick. Never fear me. I'd almost as soon strike a woman as you. Bertha Mason is mad, and she came of a mad family, idiots and maniacs through 3 generations. Her mother, the Creole, was both a mad woman and a drunkard, as I found out after I had wed the daughter, for they were silent on family secrets before. Bertha, like a dutiful child, copied her parent in both points. I had a charming partner, pure, wise, modest. You can fancy I was a happy man. I went through rich scenes. Oh, my experience has been heavenly, if you only knew it. But I owe you no further explanation. Briggs, Wood, Mason, I invite you all to come up to the house and visit Miss Poole's patient and my wife. You shall see what sort of a being I was cheated into espousing, and judge whether or not patient and my wife. You shall see what sort of a being I was cheated into espousing, and judge whether or not I don't even know if this live is even working anymore. Can I pause it? Alright, we should be good. Alright, we should be good. Where was I? My experience has been heavily, if you only knew it, but I owe you no further explanation. Briggs, Wood, Mason, I invite you all to come up to the house and visit Miss Poole's patient and my wife. What? You shall see what sort of a being I was cheated into espousing, and judge whether or not I had a right to break the compact, and seek sympathy with something at least human. This girl, he continued looking at me, knew no more than you, Wood, of the disgusting secret. She thought all was fair and legal, and never dreamt she was going to be entrapped into a feigned union with a defrauded wretch, already bound to a bad, mad, an embruted partner. Come, all of you, follow. We're gonna go meet his wife right now? Still holding me fast, he left the church. The three gentlemen came after. At the front door of the hall, we found the carriage. Take it back to the coach house, John, said Mr. Rochester coolly. It will not be wanted today. At our entrance, Miss Fairfax, Adele, Sophie, Leah advanced to meet and greet us. To the right about every soul, cried the master. Away with your congratulations. Who wants them? Not I. They are 15 years too late. He passed on and ascended the stairs, still holding my hand and still beckoning the gentlemen to follow him, which they did. We mounted the first staircase, passed up the gallery, proceeded to the third story. The low black door, opened by Mr. Rochester's master key, admitted us to the tapestried room with its great bed and its pictorial cabinet. You know, it'd be crazy if Mr. Rochester only invited Jane Eyre to live at his house to train Sophie just so he could find a new wife. There's nothing in the book that alludes to that, but that would be funny. He's already fucking up by dating an 18-year-old. I'm pretty sure she's 18. You know this place, Mason, said our guide. She bit and stabbed you here. He lifted the hangings from the wall, uncovering the second door. This, too, he opened. In a room without a window, there burnt a fire guarded by a high and strong fender, and a lamp suspended from the ceiling by a chain. Grace Poole bent over the fire, apparently cooking something in a saucepan. In the deep shade, at the farther end of the room, a figure ran backwards and forwards. What it was, whether beast or human being, one could not, at first sight, tell. It groveled seemingly on all fours. What's going on? Let me reread that. Baha'i. Alright. A figure ran backwards and forwards. What it was, whether beast or human being, one could not at first sight tell. It groveled, seemingly on all fours. It snatched and growled like some strange wild animal, but it was covered with clothing. What could it be? And a quantity of dark grizzled hair, wild as the mane, hid its head and face. Good morrow, Miss Poole, said Mr. Rochester. How are you, and how is your charge today? We're tolerable, sir, I thank you, replied Grace, lifting the boiling mess carefully onto the hob, rather snappish but not rageous. A fierce cry seemed to give the lie to her favorable report. The clothed hyena rose up and stood tall on its hind feet. Ah, sir, she sees you, exclaimed Grace. You'd better not stay. Only a few moments. Grace, you must allow me a few moments. Take care then, sir. For God's sakes, take care. The maniac bellowed. She parted her shaggy locks from her visage and gazed wildly at her visitors. I recognized well that purple face, those bloated features. Miss Poole advanced. Keep out of the way, said Mr. Rochester, thrusting her aside. She has no knife now, I suppose, and I'm on my guard. One never knows what she has, sir. She is so cunning, it is not in mortal discretion to fathom her craft. We had better leave her, whispered Mason. Go to the devil, was his brother-in-law's recommendation. Where? Cried Grace. The three gentlemen retreated simultaneously. Mr. Rochester flung me behind him. The lunatic sprang and grappled his throat viciously, and laid her teeth to his cheek. They struggled. What? She's trying to eat him? She's like attacking him? She was a big woman, in stature almost equaling her husband, and corpulent besides. She showed virile force in the contest. More than once she almost throttled him. Athletic as he was, he could have settled her with a well-planted blow, but he would not strike. He would only wrestle. At last he mastered her arms. Grace Poole gave him a cord, and he pinioned them behind her. With more rope, which was at hand, he bound her to a chair. The operation was performed amidst the fiercest yells and the most convulsive plunges. Mr. Rochester then turned to the spectators. He looked at them with a smile, both acrid and desolate. I'm gonna pause. There's a couple words here I don't know what they mean. I see. Mason, I thought Mason was introduced. This is what happens when you take a 3 month break. I don't know. That is my wife, said he. Such is the sole conjugal embrace that I am ever to know. Such are the endearments which are to solace my leisure hours. And this is what I wish to have, laying his hand on my shoulder. This young girl who stands so grave and quiet at the mouth of hell, looking collectedly at the gambols of a demon. I wanted her just as a change after that fierce ragout. Wood and Briggs looked at the difference. Compare these clear eyes with the red balls yonder. Looked at the difference. Compare these clear eyes with the red balls yonder. This, um, compare, yeah, look at the difference. Compare these clear eyes with the red balls yonder. This face with that mask, this form with that bulk. Then judge me, priest of the gospel and man of the law, and remember with what judgment ye judge ye shall be judged. Off with you now. I must shut up my prize. We all withdrew. Mr. Rochester stayed a moment behind us to give some further order to Grace Poole. The solicitor addressed me as he descended at the stair. You, madam, said he, are cleared from all blame. Your uncle will be glad to hear it, if indeed he should be still living. When Mr. Mason returns to Madeira. My uncle? What of him? Do you know him? Mr. Mason does. Mr. Eyre has been the Funkel correspondent of his house for some years. When your uncle received your letter intimating the contemplated union between yourself and Mr. Rochester, Mr. Mason, who was staying at Madeira to recruit his health on his way back to Jamaica, happened to be with him. Mr. Eyre mentioned the intelligence, for he knew that my client here was acquainted with a gentleman of the name of Rochester. Mr. Mason was astonished and distressed, as you may suppose, revealed the real state of matters. Your uncle, I am sorry to say, is now on a sick bed, from which, considering the nature of his disease, decline, and the stage it has reached, it is unlikely he will ever rise. He could not then hasten to England himself, to extricate you from the snare into which you had fallen, but he implored Mr. Mason to lose no time in taking steps to prevent the false marriage. He referred him to me for assistance. I used all dispatch, and am thankful I was not too late, as you doubtless must be also. Were I not morally certain that your uncle will be dead ere you reach Madeira, I would advise you to accompany Mr. Mason back. But as it is, I think you had better remain in England till you can hear further, either from or of Mr. Eyre. Have we anything else to stay for? He inquired of Mr. Mason. No, no. Let us be gone, was the anxious reply. And without waiting to take leave of Mr. Rochester, they made their exit at the hall door. The clergyman stayed to exchange a few sentences, either of domination or reproof. With his haughty parishioner, this duty done, he too departed. Let me see who Mr. Mason is, because I thought Mason was the girl, but I knew there was a guy named Mr. Mason. Who's Mr. Mason in? I don't remember when he was introduced. Oh my God. He's the brother of Bertha Mason. I think, and that's why he's saying, hey, I object. I heard him go as I stood at the half-open door of my room, to which I had now withdrawn. The house cleared, I shut myself in, fastened the bolt that none might intrude, and proceeded, not to weep, not to mourn. I was yet too calm for that, but mechanically to take off the wedding dress and replace it by the stuffed gown I had worn yesterday, as I thought, for the last time. I then sat down. I felt weak and tired. I leaned my arms on a table, and my head dropped on them. And now I thought, till now I had only heard, seen, moved, followed up and down where I was led or dragged, watched event rush on event, disclosure open up beyond disclosure. But now I thought. The morning had been a quiet morning enough, all except the brief scene with the lunatic. The transaction in the church had not been noisy. There was no explosion or passion, no loud altercation, no dispute, no defiance or challenge, no tears, no sobs. A few words had been spoken, a calmly pronounced objection to the marriage made, some stern, short questions put by Mr. Rochester, answers, explanations given, evidence adduced, an open admission of the truth had been uttered by my master. Then the living proof had been seen. The intruders were gone, and all was over. I was in my own room as usual, just myself, without obvious change. Nothing had smitten me, or scathed me, or maimed me. And yet there was the Jane Eyre of yesterday. And yet where was the Jane Eyre of yesterday? Where was her life? Where were her prospects? Jane Eyre, who had been an ardent, expectant woman, almost a bride, was a cold, solitary girl again. Her life was pale, her prospects were desolate. A Christmas frost had come at midsummer. A white December storm had whirled over June. Ice glazed her ripe apples. Drifts crushed the blowing roses. On hayfield and cornfield lay a frozen shroud. Lanes which last night blushed full of flowers, today were pathless with untrodden snow, and the woods, which 12 hours since waved leafy and flagrant as groves between the tropics, now spread waste, wild and white as pine forests in wintry Norway. My hopes were all dead, struck with a subtle doom, such as, in one night, fell on all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. I looked on my cherished wishes, yesterday so blooming and glowing. They lay stark, chill, livid corpses that could never revive. I looked at my love, that feeling which was my master's, which he had created. It shivered in my heart, like a suffering child in a cold cradle. Sickness and anguish had seized it. It could not seek Mr. Rochester's arms. It could not derive warmth from his breast. Oh, Never more could it turn to him, for faith was blighted, confidence destroyed. Mr. Rochester was not to me what he had been, for he was not what I had thought of him. I would not ascribe vice to him. I would not say he had betrayed me. But the attribute of stainless truth was gone from his idea, and from his presence I must go. That I perceived well. When? How? Whither? I could not yet discern, but he himself, I doubted not, would hurry me from Thornfield. Real affection, it seemed he could not have for me. It had been only fitful passion. That was balked, he would not want me no more. I should fear even to cross his path now. My view must be hateful to him. Oh, how blind had been my eyes, how weak my conduct. What's going on? Look, I am against the marriage, but why did she change her mind? I don't know, and I want to know. Oh, no, she's saying how she's talking as if Mr. Rochester himself doesn't even want her anymore, right? Why? Is it because she doesn't feel love for him? And so she just thinks that he doesn't want that? My nose is swollen. I don't have insurance to go look at it, so I have to wait till April. Thanks, Donald Trump. My eyes were covered and closed, and eddying darkness seemed to swim round me, and reflection came in as black and confused a flow. Self-abandoned, relaxed, and effortless, I seemed to have laid me down in the dried-up bed of a great river. I heard a flood loosen in remote mountains and felt the torrent come. To rise I had no will. To flee I had no strength. This is written really well. I lay faint, longing to be dead. One idea only still throbbed life-like within me, a remembrance of God. It begot an unmuttered prayer. These words went wandering up and down in my rayless mind as something that should be whispered, but no energy was found to express them. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, there is none to help. It was near, and as I had lifted no petition to heaven to avert it, as I had neither joined my hands, nor bent my knees, nor moved my lips, it came. In full heavy swing the torrent poured over me, the whole consciousness of my life lorn. My love lost, my hope quenched, my faith death struck, swayed full and mighty above me in one sullen mass. That bitter hour cannot be described in truth. The waters came into my soul. I sank in deep mire. I felt no standing. I came into deep waters. The floods overflowed me. Woo! Charlotte Bronte! That was really, really good. Chapter 27. I'm gonna check out if the live recorded properly because I had a bunch of phone calls. But that was really good. I enjoyed reading that chapter. I don't know if it was the best chapter of the book. I wish it, I don't know. I think the best one was when there was like a fire in Mr. Rochester's room. And then we didn't know if like Jane Eyre was dreaming or not. And then something happened. It was like real. It was weird. It's gothic. I liked it. I like where the story's headed. I give the story like a 3.7 out of 5 so far. It's good. It's just my only problem with it is it's too much romance. I like romance, but I'm not for Mr. Rochester and Jane Eyre's marriage, so it just turns me off a little bit. But we'll continue. Chapter